reflect the views of WSIC.
I want to see the kind of industries that are opening up.
This is Local Biz Now with Joe Vagnone, where your business matters. Local Biz Now.
You have to determine what is working, what isn't working.
Joe Vagnone is a respected business broker, helping individuals buy and sell businesses. Joe has successfully owned and operated many companies in a variety of industries. This is Local Biz Now, because your business matters.
And you are listening to the #1 talk business show in North Carolina. We are coming to you live from Berner's Cigar Studio, home of the finest premium cigars and cigar smokers in the world. Great people, premium cigars. Life is good at Berner's Cigars, located in Birkdale Village. We hope every Monday afternoon to inspire, inform, and entertain you, because that's what we do here at WSIC. So, hang on one second. I am messing up the whole computer situation here.
Houston, we have a problem.
Wilton is telling me that I'm getting feedback. So, could you now hear me better? Life is good. Life's still good.
Prepare to be astonished.
I am Joe Vagnone. This is Local Biz Now. We've been going strong for over 11 years. We have well over 850 small business and community leader videos in my YouTube channel. Please go to Joe Vagnone Business Broker and subscribe for that. There are just so much detailed information for small business people, inspirational stuff in there. We've been doing it for years, far before it was a cool and sexy thing to do, which is why we have over 850. So please go there and participate in that. We would really appreciate that. We are live on the book, live on the tubes, live on the X. Those of you that don't know Joe Talk, that is Facebook Live, YouTube Live, X, and all kind of podcasting thing. I don't know what Wilton's got us doing here, but I'm sure if you want to listen to this show, there's a way for you to be able to do that. Today is a special, spectacular situation going on today. That is, we will take your questions by Facebook, which we always do, but we'll also have phone calls. So, Wilton, if somebody calls and has a question for my guest, I want you to let me know. You might have to stand up and wave, because, you know, I really don't pay much attention to Wilton. I don't pay him no, never mind.
Can I let him know the phone number to call?
Yes, please
do
that.
It is 844-STUDIO-4, or that's 844-788-3464.
One more time.
844-STUDIO-4. It's got a nice ring to it, but in the number form, 844-788-3464.
Thanks, buddy. And the reason why we're doing that is because we have, whether he will admit it or not, for the entire show, I have the former president of the CPA Association and my friend, whether he will admit it or not, Jay Lesemann. Jay, my friend, thank you so much for being here, buddy. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Whoa. Wilton is building you up there.
Hey, I like that. I wish everybody did. I need that. Thank you for having me.
Jay, thank you for being here. I know it's a busy week. When I called you, you laughed at me. You said, "Really, Joe?" And I said, "Come on, man. It's only an hour. You know, the Berner Studio's right up the street from your office."
This
So
was stupid
consider
on my
this a
part.
break.
I can tell you that, you know.
This is a break for you. I mean, so
Right.
what I did was I went to the Google. I said, Google, how far out thou? Answered me these questions.
Help me.
That's right. So I got a list of questions that are common tax questions, right? And CPA
And you're
questions.
asking me these tax questions today because of why?
Because it is tax day. It is
There
the
you go.
final day to pay your taxes, unless you do what most of my small business fellows do, which is an extension. I have no problem with an extension. As an accountant, do you care whether your client asks for an... Whoa. Let's go ahead and clarify this, okay? Jay gets mad every time...
Anybody can be an accountant.
Really?
No, yeah. But you have to be special to be a CPA.
Special.
Special. My mama told me I was special.
Okay. What he's really saying is smart. You understand? I have married a CPA.
Yeah.
You understand? So I get it. I understand you got a big head. You don't have to show it off. Okay. I'm giving you the whole show already.
I understand, but CPA also stands for couldn't pass again.
Okay. Well, the truth is CPA does matter, right? There's some fiduciary statements. There's some trust statements that are absolutely important, and your client's interests are absolutely paramount.
They are, and I think one thing that does set us apart from so many other professions is that every year we have to take continuing education, but not just 5 years, 10 years, but we're talking 5 or 10 hours. We're taking 40 hours of continuing ed every year to keep us up to date and keep us in the know. So
Julie just sent me a statement on the book, and she said, I knew you were going to do this. Every time you talk to Jay, I call you an accountant.
Yep.
She said, I knew you were going to do that. You were setting me up for that. You knew it was going to happen, didn't you?
I was waiting.
I don't know why I do that. I don't know why. Okay. Because you have taught me this for many years, a CPA.
From the first day, probably.
Okay. Well, it just shows I don't pay you. No, never mind either. Okay.
That's why you keep asking the same questions.
That's right. So thank you for being here.
You bet.
The CPA of our area, a former president of the chamber, former president of the CPA Association, and probably now former friend of mine. But I appreciate it, Jay. Thank you for
the door's still shut. It won't let me out.
That's right. Well, I told Wilton to lock the door. You can't get
There
out of
you
the studio.
go.
So if you want to call in, Wilton, let's give him the phone number one more time if somebody wants to call in.
It is 844-STUDIO-4 or 844-788-3464 or 844-788-3464.
It is the first time honor for you, Jay, that I have ever opened up the phone lines on Local Biz Now.
It scares me.
Well, listen, there's no telling what's out there, buddy.
Hey.
But if somebody wants to call in, I will let you talk to the finest CPA that I know. And let's talk a little bit about that, Jay, before I get into my list. Because one of the things I like about you is you're not just a CPA that will do the numbers required, right? Mm-hmm. You're the guy I can ask a question, and I do it often, call you when I don't know, or what if, or you're the guy that can dig into the small business issues and come up with a solution based on facts and information, because that's what you do so well. The way you ask questions of me, it sort of narrows down and almost makes it simple. It
is, and the key thing is to take the emotion out of it when you're talking about like businesses to buy or what have you. So I appreciate that.
Well, what you do really so well, you're able to ask the questions so that the answers are going to be based on a spreadsheet that we're going to put together that actually answers the question, right? So it's not a guess. The numbers are suggesting this, Joe. And now you give me 3 or 4 questions that I need to go back and ask somebody else.
But it's also more than just spreadsheet numbers.
Okay, when we get back, we're going to find that out.
That sounds good.
And I'm going to get to my list of questions that I got for the Google.
Okay.
You are listening to Local Biz Now. I am Joe Vagnone. If it is Monday afternoon, your business matters. It is tax day. Pay your taxes. But if you haven't, I got some questions we're going to ask the master CPA. We'll be right back.
We'll return to Local Biz Now.
All right.
Entrepreneur Joe Vagnone in
So are we still on Facebook now? Or not?
What?
WSIC.
We're off completely right now.
We are off the air on radio, but we are still live on Facebook and YouTube. We're good.
We're good.
Hey, I appreciate you saying you want me to give you the phone number because you knew I didn't have the phone number. Well, he just
and if no one calls, that's okay.
Well, there's no sense in me. Joe's not going to remember the number. So if there's anything you want to say, everybody will hear it.
Like brighter smiles of Davidson.
Okay. Julie's got your website up on the book. She's still beating her chest that she knew I was going to call you an accountant.
Well, you pronounced my name right now.
You do that to me every time. Why can't you just be all right with it?
Because anybody can be an accountant.
Well, the good news is now that you're on the show, you only got to drive 5 minutes to get back to the office. You know, it used to be a 45-minute drive.
And I can stop at Hungry Howie or Howie
That's right.
Hungry or
That's
Hungry
right.
Hungry Hippo or whatever.
That's right.
And the vape shop.
You don't look like a vape guy.
I am definitely not a vape guy.
You don't smoke cigars either, do you? You're a healthy dude.
No. I used to smoke. I quit smoking back in 2005 in March, middle of tax season. I didn't need it. I mean, it was just
Right.
You know. So I have a humidor at home.
Yeah.
I just don't smoke much anymore. Don't have time.
I have friends that have been smoking for years, and they just said there come a point where they lost the taste for it.
Yeah. I mean, there's still nothing better than a good cigar when you're. But it's not just smoking the cigar; it's being with your friends and acting like you know more than you do. You still got Burner still got a big following, or
Yeah, very, very much so. All right, you ready to do it?
Download the WSIC News app today.
Local Biz Now with Joe Bagnone continues now on 105.9, 100.7 WSIC. Local starts here.
Yeah. Welcome to the #1 live business radio show in all of North Carolina, coming to you from Burner Cigar Studio, home of great people, premium cigars. Life is good at Burner Cigars, located in Birkdale Village. Go on by there and tell them Joe sent you, and your first cigar is on Joe. Thank you so much for being here. You are listening to Local Biz Now. I am Joe Vagnone, where your business matters. I'm here talking to my friend Jay Lesemann. He is the former president of CPA Association, former president of the Lake Norman Chamber, and has been a friend of the show for many years. He has been my go-to Q&A guy for my clients and for myself personally for many years. And I value his friendship. And so I can't think of anybody better on this tax day, April 15th, to bring you than Jay. What I'm going to do is I'm going to start asking him some questions.
I do want to know first, how many people did you call before you called me? And they all said no. Julie, I know you're listening. You can answer too.
Well,
Yeah.
okay, here's the reality. I told her I was going to call you. You was my first choice. And we had a bet going because she said, there's no way on April 15th, Jay's going to be able to help you. She acknowledged that my buddy would help me, right?
Mhm.
But she said, not on that day. There's
Okay.
no way. And I said, Julie, I'm going to get him. She said this, and so we bet a pizza, which she owes me because you're sitting here, you understand, because she did not think you were going to be able to do it. And I knew what was going to do it was it's only 5 minutes from the office. So, and it's not in the morning, it was in the afternoon, right? So,
Right. I mean, I don't show up late. You know, that's the other
That's
thing.
right.
Yeah.
That's right. So, but thank you for being here, buddy. I
You
appreciate
bet.
it. Okay, so questions to ask Jay Lesemann, CPA extraordinaire.
Yes, sir.
Are you ready? These come straight from the Google in no particular order, okay?
And I have the right to say I don't know.
You have the right to say you don't know or you don't care and don't want to answer it.
That's right.
This is Local Biz Now. You can do whatever you
Hey.
want. We champion liberties,
I may not
freedom.
know, but I know where I can go. To
There
find
you
out.
go.
There we go.
Okay, here we go. So if I don't make a lot of money, do I have to file taxes?
Well, what's a lot of money?
Let's say it's my 18-year-old son
Mm-hmm.
who made $5,000 in the summer.
Probably doesn't have to file. However, if there were taxes taken out, he would want to file so he could get the refund.
Okay. So it actually would benefit you, even though you didn't make a lot of money. If any taxes were taken out, you're better off to go ahead and file.
Correct. Withholding taxes, not payroll taxes, but the withholding portion.
Right.
That's
Okay.
correct.
Okay.
Your
Let's
limits
say-
are probably about 12 or 13,000, give or take, is where you start meeting that limit of you need to file because there's tax to be paid on.
So you say 12 or 13 is what thousands.
That's
okay.
yeah.
Because
ballpark.
that was my next statement. Let's say I'm a housewife or work at home. I mean a stay-at-home dad, and I make 15 grand on the side on my side business.
Mm-hmm.
Should I file? And you're saying it's around 13,000. You probably
Correct.
should.
Correct.
Okay, got it. Next question. How should I organize my tax records? How should I present them to my CPA so that they know how to fill my taxes in a reasonable form? Because, it used to just be I'd throw all the receipts in a box and hand it to you guys. You don't like that anymore, do you?
No, I've had people do that. But what I would suggest doing is just put the same type of records together. Don't worry about what order you put them in, because it depends on what order we want to deal with it. Just
Right.
if they are all receipts for food or meals, or put all that together. Don't staple them by month. That by month will drive any tax preparer crazy.
Okay, I didn't know that.
Because you're
by category is
by
what you
category, yes. And then if you want a subcategory, that's just too much.
Most of us ain't doing that unless you make us.
No.
Okay, that was a good. I didn't know that.
Yes, sir.
Because I would have thought monthly. You're saying no. Okay.
I'll need to write that down.
You did good.
Yeah.
You got me on that one. Next one. Okay.
That'll be $10. No.
What are estimated taxes? What is that?
Estimated taxes most of the time is when you are making money that you are not having tax. It's when you're making money that's not a paycheck. And
like anybody with 1099, if they make over a certain amount, they're not going to pay in advance.
Correct. And they are getting they're going to be taxed on that money. So the government wants you to at least go ahead and start paying by the quarter some portion of what you're going to owe, so that you don't have a big payment at the end. But they're supposed to be getting it throughout the
Right.
year.
Right.
And that's the key part, is just making sure that you're staying up. And it fluctuates. It's not going to be the same amount every time if you are 1099, because your income's going to fluctuate. Right.
Okay. Let's see. What if I have crypto investments? Is that taxed? That's a whole. That entire question could be the entire hour.
It could be the entire hour. Crypto, when you probably Bitcoin. Let's use Bitcoin as the example, because there are lots of different types of cryptos.
Right.
Bitcoin is just like a stock, in that until you until you do something with it,
okay,
it's not going to be. There's not a taxable event.
Okay, got it.
Does that make sense? Does that?
Yes.
I mean,
yeah. No, that's perfect.
I mean,
until there's a transaction with that.
If you take Bitcoin and cut it into Dogecoin or whatever, then that's a taxable event.
Right.
But if it's just Bitcoin from the beginning and it stays Bitcoin and nothing happens until you cash it out.
I might think that it's improved by $600,000, but until I cash it out, it doesn't matter.
Currently, that's correct.
You scare me whenever you start talking about the future.
Well, they're already talking about the appreciation of stock and taxing.
I hate that. Okay. Here we go. Are my home improvements tax deductible? Because I spend thousands of dollars every year keeping my home up.
Normal repair and maintenance, no. But if you're doing something that betters the home or betters the asset, then that goes into the cost of that asset, and it becomes a number you use when you're looking at your profit when you sell that asset. So if you add add a deck onto your house,
right,
and it costs $25,000-$30,000,
right,
and you paid originally $500,000 for the house, now the house is worth $530,000 that you paid for it. So if you sell it for $1 million, instead of it being 500 minus $1 million, it's 530 minus $1 million, which reduces your profit.
But if I replace the kitchen cabinets,
that's
we're right on the edge on that.
You're on the edge, yeah.
Okay, got it. Okay, Question on the book is asking gift cards for small businesses. When do they consider that a sale? When the card comes back in as a purchase, or when we sell the card to the person going to give the gift? Oh, did they stump you?
No, they didn't, because my answer is going to be, and it depends. But a lot of times when you sell the gift card, you have a liability to honor it.
Right.
So it creates a liability, and when the liability is no longer valid, it can become income at that time.
So either drops to the balance sheet or goes to the
Correct.
income, one or
Correct.
the other.
And that's not a great answer, I know, to give.
No.
but-
For small business people, we get that. It's either goes to the balance sheet as a liability,
Right.
and or it goes to income. And most of the time, we can kind of decide as long as we're consistent when
Correct.
we do that.
I mean, if you have 1,000 gift cards as a restaurant that someone's come in, people come in and buy it for Christmas gifts.
Right.
You have that liability now to create. You haven't honored the card,
Right.
but you have that expectation too. It becomes income at the time it's used. So
Okay. I'm self-employed. Can I get a tax break from working in my home?
if it's your office,
What if I'm storing my equipment in the garage?
that's not your.
I mean, like I'm a yard guy, and my stuff's in the garage and that sort of stuff.
I would
Why
say
you shrugging
no.
your shoulders?
I would say no. I mean, don't be egregious in any decision you make on what's a tax deduction. If you spend your whole business life trying to create what can I deduct, you're going to lose your business. Just try to focus on what's a good business decision, and oh, by the way, what's the best way to handle this if we do it. So,
Okay.
here's one big thing that we run into, and that is I have a home office, but my employer also has an office for me. Can I deduct that office as well? Well, if you're an employee, currently you can't. If you're 1099, you can and you can't. So it gets sticky at times. But don't be afraid to take a home office deduction because you feel you're going to get audited, because that's baloney.
That's no longer the case.
That's no. If it's valid, it's good.
Got it. Okay. Let's see. Here's one. Can I rent my home tax-free? Can I rent out a spare bedroom or above the garage, and do I have to pay tax on that if I rent it out?
There's something called a 14-day rule. And
They got a rule for this.
They do. I mean, it's rental income. I mean, if you're renting out a room or you're renting out a vacation house, that's still rent.
Right.
But there's a 14-day allowance that allows you to, or time span that allows you to collect, rent it to somebody and really not even have to file the income
14 days for the year?
for the year.
Okay. I didn't know that. That's another one. That's two you got me.
So,
Okay.
there's just a 14-day give or take.
Okay. Do I have to pay taxes if I've received over $600 from Venmo transfer this year?
Have to pay taxes? It depends on what are your expenses? What did
Right.
you receive the Venmo for?
They don't know you're a detailed guy. That kind of question just bothers you, doesn't it?
It does.
Not enough. Not enough information for you to help them.
People blow stuff out of proportion.
Okay.
And they get bent out of shape on little things.
That's
and
true.
That's one of them.
That's true. Okay, let's take a break. We come back. I got a whole bunch of questions to ask.
I can't wait.
The former president of the CPA for North Carolina. We'll be right back. You are listening to Local Biz Now, where your business matters. Right back. So, do you know the dude that owns Giovanni's Pellegrino?
Mm-mm.
He's a restaurant dude.
Well,
He
okay.
liked your answer on the gift card thing. He appreciated that.
Okay.
Okay, we good with the questions? We good?
Mm-hmm.
Wilton, is this working for us? This good? Okay. Yeah, we come back. We're gonna fire it up. Wilton's a good man.
But
And
you're
don't
not,
tell nobody. Don't tell nobody because I don't want him to know.
Why aren't you burning them?
They won't let me. Justin said you can have them as a sponsor, but I don't want to see any cigars in here. I need to get Wilton to work for burners at the shop.
I mean, all you need
Monday
is all you need
afternoon
is
should be
is
live at
events.
Burner
Yeah.
Cigars. That's what it should be.
With a snifter and a, you bet.
All right.
I'm good. Oh, me. We got to take pictures at some point in this menagerie.
Hey, Wilton, if you want to take a picture now of me and Jay just sitting here, you can do that. That'll work.
Sure. I don't care. You tell me, Jay. Y'all do this. I don't.
Yeah. No, this is good. This will work. This will work.
So,
Good.
Yeah, Hetwer made he said, you kind of over advertising there, aren't you, Lesemann?
You go right ahead.
I said, hey. Oh, man. Yeah, those, and now people are and cash American Express points. That becomes a big issue. So it becomes because they'll charge you income on your statement.
So we're supposed to be able to know how to read that thing and know when, but I can't figure it out.
It just looks like we know what
I
we're doing.
can't figure it out. And I think they do that on purpose just because they know that
It's
I
like
don't
brokers.
Know it.
They're
So
supposed to.
They know I feel stupid. They love that I feel stupid.
It's stagnant. It doesn't really move, but it just all makes sense. Yeah.
Every time they explain it to me, I'm like, I got it. Then the minute I look at it, I'm like, I look at all those colors, and I don't know what's happening up there. Honestly, I can't figure it out. So I think we got another minute. And on the blue.
I thought it said 0. Oh, countdown,
See, it
58.
turned green. So now, once that's done, then there's going to be an intro into Local Biz Now. That's 10 seconds, and then I start. That's what I think. How am I doing? I got that?
Why is it under Bloomberg?
Wilton is surprised. I figured that out. He's a little disappointed.
They don't need me anymore. Yeah.
I told him I could press those buttons just as good as him. Okay.
Hard to believe we've already done 35 minutes.
So what?
It said it flies the time. Everything okay? Okay.
Listen, if there's a problem, we always blame it on Wilton anyway. It don't matter. Don't worry about it.
I don't know how to operate the headphones. Here we go.
Now back to Local Biz Now with your host, Joe Bagnone on 105.9, 100.7 WSIC. Local starts here.
Yeah. The #1 live business show in all of North Carolina, going strong over 10 years. This is Local Biz Now. I am Joe Bagnone, and your business matters. I'm here with my friend and the former CPA president of North Carolina Association of CPAs, Jay Lesemann. Jay, thank you so much for being here, buddy. I do appreciate it. Before we get started, Wilton, you want to fire it up?
This is Josh Johnson, the guy who's used to rushing into burning buildings. But when I need to rush into relaxation mode, I rush to Burner Cigar. It's like calling 911 for your stress. Join me in extinguishing worries one puff at a time.
And Burner Cigar is located in Birkdale Village. It's in the same parking lot as Dick's Sporting Goods on the back end. Go on by there. Just exceptional people. We've got a program. You will get a free cigar on me. Please do that. And tell them that Joe sent you. Asked to meet the owner, Josh. He is a fireman, so he's not there all the time. But he is a cool dude, along with all of the great people at Burner Cigar. I look forward to going by there and there is no cigar on the planet that he cannot get you. He absolutely has been in business over 15 years, getting ready to open up a second location, and I can't wait to go by there and do that. Jay, you said you smoke cigars? Used to smoke cigars in the future?
I used to, and I still do every once in a while, but I need to start back. It helps me relax.
It's exactly what it does. It does two things. It helps me relax, especially when I got a lot on my mind, and it also is a great, I call it an equalizer, because I can sit in a cigar shop and fire up a cigar that's about a 45-minute, hour-long smoke, and I'm talking to people, and it doesn't matter who you are or what you've done in your life. We all become the same thing, cigar smokers
And you
at
have
that
to
moment.
slow down to smoke a cigar.
That's right.
With a cigarette, you can suck it in 3 draws, and it's gone.
That's right. That's right. Burner Cigars, go on by there. Tell them Joe sent you. Thank you so much. Okay, so before we get started on my continuous list,
Yes, sir.
okay, I got a list from the book. A question.
Uh-oh.
Is there any kind of income that is not taxable? That's an interesting
The kind
question.
you don't report. No.
We are legitimate business people here, Jay. Everything we're doing here is legit.
The kind of business that is, the kind of income that is not taxable.
Is there any income that's not taxable?
Probably not. It depends on the purpose. If your parents give you money, you're not paying tax on it.
Right.
You can have gifts from other people, financial gifts that are limited up to 15, 17,000. The limit, it kind of
Right.
changes every year. But other than that, there's some investment income that allows you, if you're buying municipal bonds in cities or states, like for North Carolina, you wouldn't have to report that interest income you earned. You report it, it's just not taxable.
Okay.
Social Security is not taxable in the state of North Carolina.
It isn't.
It is not.
I did not know that. That's
correct.
3
Yes, sir.
things that you taught me today, Jay.
I need to send you a bill.
You're on a roll there.
I need to,
You're going to send me a bill for
I'm
that.
gonna send you a bill.
Your time is always worth
That
the
is
money,
correct.
buddy. I'll tell you that right now. Okay. Is there some standard things that you would tell people, this is how you can save money on your taxes? Is there something that it's kind of your go-to, you can save money if you do this and this, and people don't know it, they don't realize it?
If you have a business, things you can do is pay yourself with a retirement plan. Usually it'll be a SEP, and that stands for Single Employee Pension, is what SEP stands
Right.
for. And the good thing about SEPs that most of the people know that are business owners, is that you don't have to do it by April 5th. You don't have to pay it by April 15th to deduct it. You just have to pay yourself the SEP retirement plan by the time you file your taxes with extensions. So it allows you to.
I didn't know the extension plays into that.
It does. But for other ones, it doesn't. But for SEPs, it does.
So how do you help clients determine what business entity they should be? C Corp, S Corp, LLC. How do you help determine that for them?
The first thing, do not listen to your neighbor.
Or Joe.
Or, clients will come in, or to-be clients will come in the door, and they'll say, well, we already set up our LLC. Why? Well, so-and-so down the street told me that's what I needed to do.
Right.
And that's a mistake, because there are reasons different. Well, LLCs are great, but what's the tax structure for the LLC? Well, it's taxed as an LLC. No, there is no, federal government does not recognize limited liability companies as a tax structure. You have to pick as a sole proprietor, LLC, partnership, S Corp, C Corp, what have you. But it's just seeing what the goals are. What does the person want to accomplish?
Right.
Who do they want to have as owner? Are they owning it themselves? Is it the spouse? Is it their child? Like we were talking about earlier. And so it just all depends on what your goals are to help you decide what to set up. In
Interesting.
Anything,
And that's a good hour-long conversation for you to have with somebody.
True.
Because you need to know them and what their interests are before you can advise them.
That's correct. And people don't realize also, you can set up you can be not be an S corporation, but all of a sudden decide you need to be an S corporation for whatever the reason, and you can file it with the end of year tax return and go back to the beginning of the year to be that S corporation.
Right.
So there's some things you can do to jump over some hoops that get you back to where you should have been in the beginning, but just didn't know enough to do it.
And I know you well enough to know you hate me asking you these questions because they all have a lot to do with the detail once you know the information and that sort of stuff. And that's really what you're saying here. It really does require more information to be specific on what the answer is.
And there is, when someone says, I have a quick question, well, there's no quick question.
That's a Joe statement.
Yeah.
I call Jay once a month. Quick question, buddy.
Jay. Yeah.
Okay. So this is another quick question that you and I hear all the time. What's the difference between a balance sheet and a cash flow statement? Can you do what I find
a cash flow statement?
Cash flow,
okay.
That I find most small business people do not understand a balance sheet, and they do not know what a P&L is or how to interpret it to analyze their business.
Okay, you said a P&L that time, but then you said cash flow, or so.
That's correct.
There are three.
They're
statements.
asking cash flow, but
yeah, there are three statements: balance sheet, profit and loss, and cash flow. Balance sheet are the assets you own and liabilities you owe. Pure and simple.
Right.
Cash account, accounts receivable, maybe some equipment. Those are your assets. If you owe money on those assets, well, that's a liability. The difference between those two is your equity.
Right.
Profit and loss is, profit is the money you bring in. Expense is the money you pay out. If you pay out more than you bring in, you're negative. Now, the key though is, and I know you're looking at your thing here, but the key is that cash flow statement is the best statement anybody can use because it tells you if are you making cash or are you not making cash?
Right.
And so when you go to sell a business, you want to know if you're cash positive.
Right.
I mean, that's what you go through with potential customers all the time.
Do you see? Is there a difference between an income statement and a P&L? Are those,
no, that's
okay.
The same thing.
I call income statement when it's just sort of current, right? And a P&L would just be last year's P&L. So I just define it differently.
I use it synonymously.
Right. Right.
But I will tell you that profit is opinion and cash is king.
Okay.
So you can make a P&L look however you want.
Okay. Do you see a lot of clients that are asking this question take advantage of the gifting rule before they start their retirement planning or before they start their estate planning? Do you see that happening a lot?
No, because they usually don't know exactly how to gift until they've started their estate planning.
Okay, so it's all part of that.
Correct.
Okay,
Correct.
Got it. Oh, here we go. How do I handle estate, trust, and inheritance issues? That's not just a CPA, right?
That is not just a CPA.
There's a team of people involved in that.
That is correct. And don't cut off your nose to spite your face or whatever, because if you try to skimp, you will pay the price. You'll pay the fee and pay the price later on.
Okay. This one says, how is an inherited IRA handled? You don't know that. That's really an attorney question, correct?
Inherited IRA.
I pass away and I left a big chunk of money in my IRA.
It used to be that the person who inherited it had to pay tax on it immediately.
Cash it out?
Now you have some time frames to cash it out.
Okay.
But there's more to it than
Again,
that.
a lot of details for that.
It's a lot, and it's really not something I deal with all the time.
Right. Got it. Okay. And so, because some of these questions are kind of related where they need the assistance of an attorney. Okay, let's take a break. You are listening to Local Biz Now. You are listening to Jay Lesemann Extraordinaire. Be right back in a minute.
We'll return to more of Local Biz Now with your host, Joe Vagnone, after these messages on 105.9, 100.7 WSIC.
All right.
After our warmest day of the year for
Fine through it. One more. You guys good?
Yesterday, another warm day.
We're good?
Couldn't be better, man.
Don't open the door. He might slide out. But you surprised a few people with the Social Security not taxable. I didn't know that either. I thought it was taxable.
In fact, when I was on the when I was chair of CPAs, that's when we were going through trying to redo a lot of the North Carolina
Right.
stuff, and that was one of them. That because North Carolina used to be an unfriendly state to retirees,
Right.
and until the state made Social Security benefits not taxable in North Carolina, you don't have to worry about on federal. If you make more, you have to pay on Social Security.
Right.
That's not the case for North Carolina, so makes it pretty good.
All right.
Here is your WSIC community calendar. Friday night, the monthly car show Hot Rods and Hop.
Is there any question you can ask a lot of that you want to make sure I answer here? We good here? Keep going.
We're good.
Keep on going the Google list.
Yeah, I know less about the retirement benefit side.
Right. And and I can see that, and I'll try and work past those because I can see those that they're peppered in here.
Yeah,
Right.
and that's fine. I mean,
Right.
I'll tell you, but
With high energy excitement from beginning to end. For more information on these shows and many other programs, visit gainarts.org. That's CAINarts.org. Ghostface Brewing in Marsville marks their
so is this a 24/7 radio station, or is it?
Yeah.
Do
This
they
is-
bring?
This is just like It is WSIC out of Statesville. He still has that Statesville
Does he really?
studio. This is just a second studio because he lives in Cornelius. So I'm lucky enough
tired
that
of
I can
going
do the show here.
featuring nearly 100 performers, including
And so now it's just right up the street.
Yeah.
But Jay, I'll tell you, some of my favorite time to smoke a cigar is in the car, and so I miss ending the show Friday morning, lighting up a cigar, and driving back to
Yep.
Cornelius. So I really miss that.
Oh, I can see that.
Yeah.
I can see that. I try. I don't smoke in the car anymore, but
Well, I mean, my car's 13 years old, and you wouldn't want to get in my car after 13 years of smoking cigars in it.
features highlights from Broadway shows
no.
and Smokey Joe's Cafe, along with the
Okay.
Chorus. See you at the Mooresville Performing Arts Centers on May 5th.
Some of there is. I'm trying to think of some of the stuff that's happening. These tax laws are changing all the time, and it's irritating.
Call now to speak with Joe Bagnone at 844-Studio-4. It's Local Biz Now on 105.9, 100.7 WSIC. Local starts here.
Talk IRS.
Yeah. You are listening to Local Biz Now, the #1 talk live business show in all of North Carolina, going strong for over 10 years. We hope to inspire, inform, and entertain you because that's what we do here at WSIC. I am talking to my good friend, whether he will admit it or not, Jay Lesemann, CPA extraordinaire, and he's answering our questions on this tax day. If you want to call in, please call in 844-788-3464. We are getting some questions on the tubes, and I'll bring those to you when they come in. Meanwhile, I went to the Google, and I got some questions, and I'm asking Jay these questions. Here's another question for you. Is there a specific salary amount that a S-Corp owner should take? I've had a lot of S-Corps, and I don't give myself a salary, Jay, if I'm trying to build the business because I want to sell it. What's your take on that?
S-Corps, you're supposed to pay yourself, the rule, supposed to pay yourself a salary commensurate with what you would pay somebody else to do that job. Now, we know as business owners, ain't no way I could be paid near enough
That's right.
to do what I do for my, for the business, but that's the rule. There are companies that will help you find the limits or find the area of what you should pay yourself. I know, and I've been through some audits where this has been blessed, is that you take your earnings for every quarter or every year or whatever and look at it and decide, okay, 50%, give or take, needs to be salary. So if I make $100,000, 50% needs to be a salary. So that's $50,000 salary.
Right.
Now I have. Now you've made $50,000 on the business because you've paid the employee,
Right.
and that $50,000 comes out as a dividend.
Okay.
What you do not want to do is take all of it out as a dividend or distribution under S Corp, because that bypasses all the payroll tax.
Right.
That's really the purpose of the S corp is it forces you to pay payroll tax instead of paying it as self-employment tax if you're a sole proprietor.
Got it. Ah, interesting. Okay. I better not talk any more about that because I might have been a little guilty of that.
Well,
Oh, okay.
I'll give you the technical official answer.
Okay.
It's on microphone. I gotta be.
So this is, this just comes to mind. Matter of fact, I might have even called you on this one. I don't know. The question comes up: what is my tax effect going to be after this transaction? Right, like that. This question comes up a lot. I just sold a home that I've had for 25 years.
Mhm.
Right, rented it for probably the last 20 years. The taxes I'm going to owe is more than what I paid for the home when I bought it 25 years ago.
Okay.
So this question comes up a lot for you, doesn't it?
No.
Really?
When you say tax effect, what do you mean?
And most of the time, it's going to be a capital gains on a transaction.
Okay, I'm sorry.
Yeah. Most of the time, it's a transaction that catches us small business people that we're like, what? I got to pay. What? I got to pay for that?
Well, I mean, you've.
Don't say it like yeah. You say it like you're in cahoots with Uncle Sam.
Shit, yeah. You got it to a point to where you wanted to sell it,
Right.
and you increased the value of it. It's just like a stock,
Right.
and you have to think of it that way. When you get you got to pull. Business owners have the hardest time pulling emotion out of the business and thinking only with their head.
Absolutely.
And I mean, it's okay to do things like pay tax on more money you're making. You're going to pay more tax. Now you hear about what Amazon, he doesn't pay tax, and he does pay tax. The issue is that all of these communities give them they give them tax credits
and that's right.
to come into the area. Well, you don't hear about before this. He would have paid that,
Right.
and so forth.
Right.
And when you walk away from those things, that's negating or going back on a contract you had. But the whole tax effect, make a good business decision.
Well, it's funny. I told you my wife's CPA, and I was quite frustrated at the sale of this property. How much tax I go, man? She said, it's 15%.
Yeah,
That's the cheapest you're going to pay in taxes anyways. Why are you complaining?
That's right.
She did kind of bring it down to earth, because it's income any way you cut it, whether it's from that property or you worked for it or whatever, and it's only got to be taxed at
and
at 15%.
property is the one thing you can still defer your
Right.
gain on when it's called a 1031 exchange.
Right.
And anytime you can defer your gain or defer tax on something, I always say do it. You don't know what's going to happen down the road, but who cares? I mean, that was the great thing in the movie The Firm when they go down to
Right.
the Bahamas, and Tom Cruise asks, you say, well, what do you care?
That's
You're
right.
never going to be paying it anyway.
Okay. What would the tax be if I cashed in my employer's stock options? It's really the same thing, right?
But see, there's so many different type of stock options.
Okay.
You have
Not enough
qualified,
detail.
non-qualified. It's just
Okay.
sometimes and this is what happens a lot of, and Lowe's is down the street, and they have a lot of this where they will take out of if they give you 100 shares, they may have to charge you tax on it and becomes compensation. Well, 5 or 10 of those shares get sold to cover the tax
Right.
on that compensation that you receive,
Right.
and you still have 85 or 90 shares or what have you. So when you sell that stock, that's your starting point.
Right.
And so, but other times you start at zero because you haven't been taxed on it yet. And
Okay.
So it's all gray.
Okay. What are you seeing out there? Like what seems to be the most common business issue or challenge that's frustrating the small business person in your field of CPA work?
What I see mostly, what I get frustrated with mostly is people wanting to try to figure out how to cut their tax bill instead of how to make a good business decision.
Right.
Focus on what you can control, and we or other firms can help guide you the best we can. But if you make money, you're going to
Don't throw the baby out with the bathwater.
Right,
You got to
right.
make good business decisions and pay the tax on.
But don't
good
do it
income.
on emotion. And
Right.
there are clients that have left me. I mean, because they wanted to start this was years ago, but wanted to start a diaper business where remember the old days of
That's
the
right.
cloth diapers.
That's right.
Well, people don't do that now.
Right.
I don't care how much some like it. Majority, it's going to hard to be a business owner of a plan that sells cloth
Right.
diapers to the majority of people when they don't. So use your head. Don't just
Right.
use your emotion of thinking it should work.
And I tell people all the time, that's what I like about accountants, controllers, and CPAs. The answer should be in a spreadsheet before it's all over with. I mean, that's the best way to take the emotion out of it.
That's true.
There should be a
That's
number or percentage that you're looking at before this whole thing is over with.
That's correct.
Okay, gotcha. So how does self-employment tax work? How does that actually work? They're asking this question in sort of a broad sense.
Self-employment tax, it is going to be, you're going to be paying the tax of the employer and the employee. That's the basic concept. So if those that have a paycheck right now from their employer, if they look on their paycheck stub, they will see where they're paying 7.65% for FICA, which is Social Security tax, and then the Medicare tax. Well, as a self-employer, as an employer of yourself, you're paying not only that portion, but you're paying the employer's portion as
Right.
well, so it doubles. So
Right.
it becomes 15%, and that's just a rounding.
Right.
And so you're paying 15% on every dollar out of your pocket when you file your own personal return.
Right. And you get some of it when you retire.
Supposedly, they say.
That's right. Okay. So how often should I meet with my CPA? If I'm a small business guy, I'm feeling pretty good about what I'm doing. I got a good understanding. How often I need to meet with Jay?
In the beginning, I would say probably quarterly. As you business develops and you become more comfortable in what you're doing and so forth, and you don't need to ask me how to do something or another, maybe annually or maybe every 6 months. But we will probably be seeing each other. You see each other in business situations and non-business situations, and you talk, and just don't make a big decision without just bouncing it off the wall. I had a client one time called me at 1:00 in the morning because it was a marketing event, and he was trying to decide on how to market, but he couldn't talk to his spouse because she's got spouses have an emotional tie-in.
Right.
How's that going to affect me? Talk to somebody, and that's nothing wrong with it. It's just that's how it is. Talk to someone who can just listen to you and give you ideas of what they're hearing and come back. And it's
Right.
any advisor,
Right. Right. And your advice is so strong because you've got the experience of so many other challenges that people have. So you put all those
And
together,
I've
you can
lived
give
that
them a good
life.
answer.
I've been in corporate America. I've been in public accounting. I've done mergers, acquisitions. I've done the venture capital route. And that's why we opened up this firm to begin with.
Right. Buddy, thank you so much. I really appreciate you being here.
Thank you.
If somebody wanted to reach you, how can they reach you?
They can reach me at joevagnone.com. LesemanCPA.com. LesemanCPA.com.
That's right. And you can call me and Julie. We'll still, if you ask for an accountant, we're going to CPA. We're going to send you to Jay's.
And Julie, I want half of the pizza.
That's right. You are listening to Local Biz Now. I am Joe Vagnone.
Thank you.
If you need a CPA, Jay Lesemann, CPA, is the man. Jay, thank you so much,
Thank
buddy.
you.
We'll see you next week where your business matters.
Serving you better than ever before. WSIC, Statesville, W290D.